Recently, Celebrity Cruises announced a lot of new announcements, including their new ship that will be sailing this November, Xcel, the new river cruise market they're entering, and their new reimagined ship class program. I had the opportunity to talk to Rebecca from Celebrity Cruises to discuss all of those announcements and so much more. I also asked the questions you asked me, so please stick around, see what we have to say, and don't forget to stay to the end when you hear some intriguing announcements she has to make. Rebecca, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me, Angela. I am so thrilled for this opportunity. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I'm very grateful for you coming on. So let's get into it. So in November, we are going to see Celebrity's newest Edge class ship, Xcel. Can you explain how will Xcel be different from the other Edge class ships that we have?
So Xcel is our fifth of the Edge class series ships, and she will be quite a bit different. So for example, I'm joining you today from the bazaar, if you can see my background. Yes. So we are taking what is formerly Eden on our other Edge class ships and converting it into the bazaar on Celebrity Xcel. So what this is, it's really our way of having a place where we get to blur the destination between ship and shore. So we take this beautiful space, which has a lot of LED projections, as you can see, which we can change, and we really highlight the destinations that we're visiting. So in the Caribbean, we will have 3 different Caribbean festivals that we do in this area. And each festival will take an entire day, and we'll have all kinds of activities ranging from day into night. The physical space is still exactly the same as it is on Eden today, but we'll really be able to transform this space to offer a lot of variety. So in addition to entertainment and culinary, which you may think of, we are going to have the market, which is our destination retail. So before you enter this space, we'll have a new retail space specifically highlighting different goods from the destinations that we visit. So that would be Caribbean in the winter and then Europe in the summer. We will continue to have a specialty restaurant in this area. It's called Mosaic, and it's in the lower level of the bazaar. And then we will also continue to have a complimentary dining venue, which will be called Spice Cafe. So Spice Cafe is open for breakfast. It's open for lunch. It's a beautiful area, wonderful ocean views, floor-to-ceiling windows. It's complimentary. And so we will offer that in this area as well. So it's going to be a fantastic space, and guests will really enjoy that. My favorite announcement, I have to say, I think is Bora. So Bora will be a new specialty restaurant concept. So if you've sailed on our Edge class ships before, it's the rooftop garden grill on the upper level of our ship. Right? Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that transforms into Bora, which is a Mediterranean shared plates concept. What I really love is that we are going to open Bora for brunch every single day from 10 to 2. So we're going to have this fabulous Bloody Mary bar with all kinds of different mix-ins, shareable plates, live music, just a really festive, happy brunch from 10 to 2 daily. So that's probably one of my favorite announcements. We will have some new concepts and some new spaces and some other new announcements as well that we've just made recently. But those are probably my 2 favorite highlights in terms of what's new on Xcel.
Well, they sound fabulous, especially the bazaar. And I do love how you're, like you said, blurring the line between the continuation of the ports, not just leaving the port, but now it's continuing on the cruise. I think that's fabulous.
Yes, me too. It's so exciting. I'm so excited for Xcel, and she'll start sailing in November. We did add a 4-night sailing November the 9th. So we're finishing Xcel early, which is fantastic. So we were able to add an additional 4-night sailing on November the 9th as well.
That is great. That is great. Now, after the Xcel, do you have any other ships planned after her?
So originally, Xcel was supposed to be the 5th and final of the Edge series ships. However, we will have one more we've announced sailing in 2028. So we don't have a name for her yet, so we're just kind of lovingly calling her Xcel 2.
Okay.
until we have a name for her. But we will have one more, so 6 in total, and that will sail in 2028.
Okay, that gives us quite a few years now. Well, that brings me to a question, and actually, a lot of members that Facebook members that I have asked the same question. And one of the things, I don't want to say controversial, but one of the aspects of the Edge class ships that people are a little, love and not love as much is the infinite verandas. And they were asking if in the future ships, do you think they would, Celebrity would put more traditional balconies, like you have the sunset verandas, which would be in the back only, and there's very limited number on the Edge class. Do you think they would, they're going to be sticking with the infinite verandas, or do you think they may, based on feedback, introduce some more traditional?
That is actually a very, very good question. And you're absolutely correct. Some people love the infinite verandas and some people do not love the infinite verandas. For Xcel and Xcel 2, we will continue with the infinite veranda concept. That said, just FYI, we did add 4, I know only 4, but 4 traditional verandas onto Xcel. So we do just have a few of traditional verandas. When we build our next series of ships, which we are dreaming about right now and imagining, I think there is a good chance that we would go back to a traditional veranda. So, we are very receptive to all of the feedback that we get from guests. And so I think there is a chance we would go back to a traditional veranda. The infinite veranda is fantastic when we visit destinations, especially that aren't, particularly consistently temperate all the time. So they're fabulous in Alaska. They're fabulous in the Caribbean when it's really hot. But I know some people don't love the infinite veranda concept. So I think as we build the next series of ships, we may very well go back to the traditional veranda.
The Millennium class is getting older. And I know a lot of people, a lot of lines talked about when they build their new ships, they're going to have to replace those older ships, that's, like I said, starting to get that age. Those are those smaller ships, which are really the smaller ships that allow you to go into the smaller ports, because these bigger ships just can't fit, or they're not, the ports aren't liking the amount of numbers that are coming in. Would you think that your next class of ships would be more smaller on the Millennium class, or do you think it's going to be consistent with the Edge class series? Just you don't have to be.
So as a guessing person, and I've been in sales with our company for 23 years, we do have an amazing leadership team. And I do think that we will probably stay right around the size that we are with the Edge class ships. I don't foresee us, in terms of ocean cruising, having something, that's likely smaller than where we're at today.
You recently talked about Celebrity Renewed, and you'll be doing, I believe Solstice is the first of the series in the Solstice class ships. So would you like to discuss what that program is exactly?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, as ships get older, you have to make the decision as to what you're going to do in terms of an investment, right? And we love our beautiful Solstice class ships. They have amazing lighting. They're so tranquil. They're so beautiful. And so we have made the decision to renew and reimagine and revitalize this particular series of ships. So Solstice, to your point, will be the very, very first. She goes into dry dock in January of next year and comes out in March. And so with this, it's new concepts. It's completely redesigning some of the spaces we have and how they're used. I'll give you an example. So on deck 4 forward on the Solstice class ships, we have Celebrity Central, which is kind of a mini theater.
Yes.
And then we also have, it could be future cruise, it could be meeting space, it could be a nightclub. There are different concepts that we have in that deck 4 forward area on the Solstice class ships. And on Solstice, we are completely redoing that entire area, right? And so the mini theater will be converted into Boulevard Lounge. which is going to be a new entertainment venue. We will have our beautiful craft social concept, which is kind of our upscale sports bar.
Yeah.
We will have Boulevard Bar in that area as well. So we'll have another separate dedicated bar in that area. So it will be a complete reimagining of that area. So I also want to mention that when we do a complete renewal, we redo all the staterooms, we redo all the suites, we refresh all the public areas. So it's the entire ship. It's basically renewing the entire ship. So when guests sail on her, she feels brand new all over again.
What about on the Solstice, particularly, and I know Eclipse is the same, is that they don't really have that dedicated retreat section like they do on the Edge Class series. And I believe you did a little bit on Silhouette.
So
Yeah.
we will add that. That's a fantastic question. So we will have the retreat sun deck on that area. So we will add a retreat sun deck. Michael's Club will convert into the retreat lounge. So it will feel much, much more like the retreat experience on the Edge Class ships. So as we go back and revisit these ships, to your point, that's absolutely a focus for us. We want to make sure that guests sailing with us in a suite have the full experience. And so we will have the retreat lounge. It will convert from Michael's Club to retreat lounge, and then we'll also have the retreat sun deck.
I'm looking forward to seeing that.
Yeah. One other quick thing on these, because the Lawn Club is such a special area on our Solstice Class ships, I do want to mention that we are completely reimagining that Lawn Club area on the upper deck of the ship. So we will be replacing the real grass with a very high-end kind of AstroTurf. And that whole area is going to convert into what we call Sunset Park. Some more seating, more shading, more entertainment. And, you know, we women know how challenging it can be to walk on real grass and heels.
Yeah.
And it does kind of limit some of the cocktail party and functionality that we have in that area with the real grass. So Sunset Park will be the reimagined Lawn Club with these ships as well. So it's going to be spectacular.
So again, we're talking about the Solstice Class ships now with this program, but in time, we may even see the Millennium Class also be.
Absolutely. That is very much a possibility. Well. Those conversations are being had.
What would be the design and amenities of Celebrity that sets them apart from the other premium brands?
So, you know, that's a really, really good question. And so when I think of the number one thing that I think just makes our cruise line so special, I always have to start with the crew. I really, really do. We have the most amazing crew. We have brothers that work for us, husbands and wife that work for us. I think the thing that makes us most special is our crew. Now, that said, you know, we are very willing to change and adapt and entertain new ideas. So, for example, when we launched Celebrity Edge, it was the single most successful ship launch in history at that time. And so when we're looking at concepts and design, you know, for Edge, we went to a different people completely outside of travel. Right. And outside of cruise, outside of travel, to help us design Celebrity Edge. Right. And so I think one of the things we look to do first and foremost is to find out who are the experts in their fields. Right. And we make them part of our dream team. And so when we're looking at new concepts or new vessels, you know, first and foremost, I think we're very willing to innovate and to entertain new ideas. And some people, you know, when we came out with Celebrity Edge, they didn't exactly love it. You know, we have a lot of guests that have sailed with us a long time, and no pun intended, but, you know, I think a few of them thought maybe Edge was a little edgy for them, right? And then we had more new to cruise and more new to brand than ever when we launched Celebrity Edge. So I think we're very willing to try new concepts and to tap into new talent when we look at designing our ships.
I think personally, being on the Beyond, I loved Beyond. I think it really does set the tone of that luxury resort at sea, you know, the Vera theme. I really, it is above, you know, so many ships, the whole design, the flow, the service, like you said, it just really is that step up and really matches your luxury resort at sea.
theme. It was excellent, done very well.
Speaking of Celebrity Beyond, Daniel Boulud has been our global culinary ambassador for many years. He's a famous restaurateur and chef. His very first restaurant at sea was on Celebrity Beyond, Le Voyage. And so we continued with that concept on Celebrity Ascent. So, again, best in their field, right? We want to partner with top talent.
Can you talk more about the dining and culinary experiences on Celebrity?
Sure. So first and foremost, variety, I would say, is at the heart of our culinary program. So when you're in any of our specialty restaurants, we want those destinations, or any of our dining rooms, we want those destinations to feel very special and specific unto themselves. So every single thing, from the silverware to the glasses to the napkins, all the tiny details are crafted and selected specifically for that venue. So I think variety is at the heart of everything that we do, and customization in terms of the areas that we offer. When we launched the Edge Class vessels, we took that huge main dining room that you typically think of, and we broke it into 4 little restaurants, right? That was a game-changing idea for the industry at the time. The menu is 99% the same, regardless of which one of those 4 main restaurants you dine in. There are some regional specialties depending on which restaurant you select. But each one of these 4 restaurants is very special and specific and very uniquely designed unto itself. So I think variety and attention to detail are at the core of everything that we do in terms of culinary.
You and I have been talking about this announcement for quite a few months now. I don't even remember when it was first announced. Maybe it was late last year. So Celebrity announced they will be joining the river cruise market.
Yes.
So can you explain at this time, I know there's not too much information out, can you explain what you do know, what you can share? When will we know more? And how will it merge with the ocean market? Do you plan on it, working together in any way?
Very, very good question. And I have to say, in my 23 years with this company, that might be the single most popular announcement that I can think of. Yes, we are entering the river cruise category. So we have ordered 10 brand new build river cruise vessels. I have seen the rendering, and I can tell you it's sexy. It's really sexy. We will begin sailing in 2027 with 1 to 2 vessels. I think we'll probably start sailing mid-year or maybe toward the end of the year. We will have a pre and post option. I do believe the itineraries will be mostly 7 nights in length. There are a lot of details that we are finalizing. And we really don't want to release too much information in the event that things change between now and finalization. I do think that it will probably be in September when we release more information in terms of what that river cruise product really looks like, and some more details around that. The vessels will have between 160 and 180 passengers. As a brand, I've talked about variety, and we like to give our guests variety. So I think we're really thinking about the river cruise product, and how do we as a brand offer some variety in terms of that product. So we are super excited about it. I cannot wait to share more information, and I would be more than happy to come on and do a talk specifically about river as soon as I can give you more information.
Oh, fabulous.
Yeah, they're
going to hold you to that.
Yeah, absolutely. So it will be an amazing product. I mean, when I saw the rendering of the vessel itself, I was like, wow. So you will know it's a Celebrity Cruise river vessel for sure.
You said you've been with the company for over 20 years. So what would you say is your best kept secrets and suggestions that you can have for our audience about Celebrity?
Ooh, that's a good one, because all of our information is public these days.
Yeah, exactly. Especially on YouTube.
So I will tell you, one of what I think is the best kept secrets is that if you're sailing on one of our Edge Class vessels, or any of our vessels really, people tend to think of the sunset bar in the back of the ship as where they're going for sail away, right? Live music, great cocktails, festive atmosphere. So a lot of people think of that sunset bar area specifically for sail away. I will tell you, especially on the Edge class vessels, if you take a cup of coffee and a croissant into that area in the morning, it is beautiful. It is serene. If you're on Beyond or Ascent, it's a Moroccan themed sunset bar. It's quiet. It's tranquil. The sun is beautiful in that space. And so people don't think of, okay, maybe I'll just grab a coffee and a croissant and go enjoy the beautiful destination from the sunset bar.
Yeah.
But it's sunrise. It's absolutely a remarkable space and one of my favorites. So I would say that's one of my best kept secrets. And then also, I guess I would say that our Aqua class staterooms are kind of a best kept secret. So our Aqua class category is above a veranda, right? But below a suite. So it's above a veranda and below a suite. So the physical stateroom itself is still a veranda stateroom, right? It's no bigger, it's no smaller. It's the amenities that we add into that stateroom, including bottled waters and, yoga mats that you can take throughout the ship, or a complimentary fitness class, or daily canopies. It's the amenities that kind of amp up that stateroom experience. But with the Aqua class category, Blue becomes your dedicated dining room. And so Blue is small, it's boutique, it's gorgeous. It's open for breakfast. It's open for dinner. No reservations required. Come and go as you please. I'd say the dining experience is probably a little bit more elevated in terms of what we offer in the main dining room. The staff gets to know you very quickly. They know your likes. They know your dislikes. And it's just a beautiful, beautiful dining experience for breakfast and for dinner. And then also with the Aqua class, you have access to the Persian garden or the thermal suite. And this is an area that we have in the spa that has heated mosaic tile loungers, and it may have some special themed rooms like an infrared sauna or a Turkish hammam. So there's a lot that goes with the Aqua class. But you're not at that price point where you get to with a suite, right? And so it's a very much an elevated experience above the veranda. Sometimes know what it is or what it means, but I think the Aqua class is definitely one of our best kept secrets.
It is. And like you said, it is nice because it's for people who maybe not ready for the retreat quite yet for whatever reason, but want a step up from the verandas or concierge level. And then, Aqua class definitely. I think the restaurant itself and the getting into the thermal suite, Persian Gardens, is definitely reason enough to go in there. Since I finished all my questions, is there anything else that you would like to share or talk about at this time?
So I think we will probably have at least one more spectacular announcement between now and the end of the year. So I would say close to us and stay tuned, because as a brand, we're always innovating, and the guest is at the heart of every single thing we do, and guest satisfaction is super important to us. So with that in mind, I think we may have one more big announcement between now and the end of the year. So
outside of river cruising.
Outside of river cruising. So stay tuned.
Got me intrigued.
I started off by saying, we love to innovate. We love to entertain new ideas. We've got an amazing leadership team. We have incredible people that support our brand. And so, stay tuned. There's always something in the works.
I'm intrigued. I can't wait. Thank you again very much for your time. And you're going to have to come back and we'll talk about all those things.
Sounds good. Thank you, Angela. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
So are you intrigued as I am as what this announcement could be? Drop in the comment what you think it could be. I really am curious to see what you have to say. And if you're looking to get on a celebrity cruise, be sure to contact me and let me help you find the perfect one and have your coolest day ever. And don't forget to like and subscribe so that you don't miss any more content, including Rebecca's coming back and to share more on that announcement and also the river cruise market that she can talk more about. Thank you again. Happy cruising.